It is with heavy hearts that we come on the air today, a little quieter, a little more somber than you normally see us. As many of you probably know by now, Saturday night we lost a dear friend and a colleague of this show, comedian Erica Watson.
Yeah, Erica was a member of our WCL family for 10 years, but she was so much more than that, Val. She was a friend, a confidant, smart, funny, self-deprecating, truly a beautiful person with so much life left to live. Yeah. We know how happy she was.
Yeah.
You know, I just watched last night the show that she made her last appearance. It was January 6th. And she was in Jamaica, as you know.
Yep.
And just so happy, and she felt so safe there. And I mean, look at her. The only thing more vibrant than her hair is her personality. And I just can't even believe it. We've talked at length about it.
Yep, we have. And man, I love to see her smile. And I wasn't here that day. I was at home, you know, recovering from my surgery. And, you know, when we sat down here for the show, her picture was in the monitor over you. And I go, there she is. And you thought I was talking about her spirit. But I do feel her spirit. I feel her spirit. She was, I can tell you this for certain, that she was the happiest she had been in her life in these last 6 months. September, I remember she texted me. She said, Val, I'm going to Jamaica for a month to write and to get away because she was so afraid of COVID here in the U.S. Our numbers were awful here in Chicago. She never left the house. She had some pre-existing conditions, so it was so important for her to get away and be able to write and feel free and healthy, and she did that. And, you know, of course, our hearts are extremely heavy this morning with the passing of Erica, but it is her family who's truly carrying the weight of her loss, and her younger big brother, Eric Watson, who I know personally Erica adored and loved oh so much because I always heard about Eric, joins us now. And Eric, of course, we want to just say that we are so sorry for you and your family's loss, and we offer our sincerest condolences.
Thank you.
How you holding up?
I'm trying to hang in there. Me and my family are having a real hard time. It's still fresh, you know. It's just basically we're praying a lot and just sticking together right now. That's all we can do.
How's your mom and dad?
They're taking this pretty tough, you know.
Yeah.
Erica firstborn, so you know that was their baby. You know, and then I came along and messed up the mix, you know.
I was going to say, how many years apart were you and Erica?
We're 3 years apart.
3 years apart. I knew, I was thinking it was about 2, but yeah, you came along and you stole the show, huh?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Parents love us both so much, though, you know.
Yeah, we were just talking about your sister and how happy she was in Jamaica and how safe she felt there, and we saw some video of her. How much did you communicate with her? And obviously, you can speak on how happy she really was out there.
I talk to Erica pretty much every day. That's my best friend, you know. I reached out to her. She would always come on. Me and her are big foodies, so she would show me what she was eating and show me where she was, how beautiful the water was, and talk about the people and everything there. I guess they live a more holistic life down there, and she was starting to feel a lot better about her life and, you know, getting healthier.
Eric, we all feel like we know Erica. That was part of her beauty. That was part of her charm, that you felt like you knew her forever. Somebody was even asking me, like, when did Erica and I first meet? And I could not even tell you because I feel like we've been friends for a lifetime. What's something that we don't know about Erica? You were there her whole life. Tell us something about Erica that we don't know.
Erica, you guys pretty much know everything about Erica. Erica she was a real person. She let everybody know how she felt. She loves her. I have a son and 2 daughters, and they were her life. I mean, that's all Erica talking about was them and them going to college and everything. So, I mean, this is just real tough, you know.
Yeah, she lit up any room that she walked into, and if we hadn't had her on the show in a long time, we would always say, we got to get Erica on, because we knew it was guaranteed laughs. I would have to imagine growing up as Erica as your big sister, there was a lot of laughs in that family.
Yeah, Erica thinks she's funnier than I am, but we have competitions all the time. When we go places, you know, she would try to be funnier than me, and I'd try to be funnier than her, but then we'd always talk about it afterwards, and she's like, I'm the comedian here. You slow down, little brother. That's what she would always tell me.
I always said she should have a coffee table book about her dating life. And she had so many good stories, and her takes when we talked about relationships and dating, it was not only really funny, but it was so honest. She was unapologetically herself, and I love that about her.
Definitely. Erica and her relationships over the years, I could write a book from all the stuff she called me would tell me. You know, just unbelievable. I'm like, Erica, that didn't really happen, did it? She's like, yeah, it did. You know, but she always looked at me as a little big brother. She would always ask me for advice about her relationships, and I would just tell her, no, cut it off. That's it. It's over with. You know?
Yeah, and that's true. That is so true, because the way Erica talked about her brother and, you know, just her family, her mom, her dad, her nieces, her nephews, she was crazy about family. But you know what? She just wasn't an auntie to your kids. She was everybody's auntie. She was everybody's mentor and friend and connector, and you know, the person that just wanted to see people win and succeed. I remember, you know, my kids call her Miss Erica. And you know, Eric, there was a time where we were doing our thing every Sunday at my house, and you know, when she would come in and the kids would come down the stairs, it was nothing but big old hugs, because Miss Erica was there. And you know, Zoe, Max is a boy and he's younger, but Zoe was crazy about Miss Erica because she could be herself. You know, Miss Erica was that other auntie cool figure in her life who was cool and down to earth, but yet always was sending me things to make sure that Zoe's applying for this scholarship or Max was in this program. And that's just who she was, wasn't it, Eric?
Yes, it really is. I didn't know Erica knew so many people.
Exactly. She knows everybody.
Oh, on Facebook now, I'm getting so many people, you know, coming to me trying to be my friends or asking how they can help out. And it's like overwhelming, but it's such a great feeling to know Erica touched so many people.
She really did. And Val, you were saying you can't remember the first time you met her. I can't either, but I do remember season 1, the first time we really connected. Erica invited me to her one-woman show that she was performing. And she said, please bring some of you and some of your cute young guy friends, you know. And she didn't think I was going to show up because we weren't that close yet, and it was 10 years ago. So I showed up to the show. She had front row seats for us, and we were like the only white guys in the show. And she was flirting with my friends, and she was making jokes about us, and it really meant a lot. We connected, I think, that night because she was so impressed that I invested in going to her show.
And I was sure, was it all black crowd? And I was the only white folks in there, huh?
We were the only white guys in there. And I got to meet many of her family members that night, and that was the time that I felt like I really connected with her. And since then, she was always encouraging others. She was encouraging me to pursue acting more. She would call me on the phone, and she was such a talented writer, and we're going to talk about that more coming up a little bit later in the show, but just a talented actress and writer that always wanted to see others succeed. She was never envious or jealous of other people's success.
Eric, go ahead. We don't want to. We can go on and on about Eric, but we want Erica, but we want to hear more from you about what we're saying.
Oh, that's just so true. I mean, I'm just taking it all in right now. I'm listening to everything you guys are saying. It's humbling just to hear all these stories. You know. Yeah. This is tough.
And she always talked too about your wife, her sister-in-law. That was like. They were really, I mean, that was her sister. You know, when you think of in-laws, right? She really, it wasn't like the in-law thing. It was like that was her sister.
Definitely. Yes, my wife is sitting across from me now, and it's just, she's taking it all in too. You know, we really miss Erica.
Yeah, and it just seemed like, I know that you had posted it was complications with COVID. It just seems like it happened so fast.
Yeah, that's the thing about COVID. From what I've been learning, I've been doing so much research and looking into things. It attacked her lungs, and it took over from there. And we thought she was getting better, and then COVID is just so unpredictable. You know, it starts, you know, you could be fine one day, and then the next day it's all downhill. And that's what seemed to happen, you know.
Yeah, it's just such a loss. And Eric, we really, really appreciate you joining us because I know that this is so difficult. We are thinking about you and your family.
Thank you.
Well, if you are just joining us, if you're just joining us, we're celebrating and remembering the spirit and the heart of our dear friend Erica Watson. Erica was such a treasure for us here at Windy City Live, and even more so for those who really knew her well. Joining us to share their memories of the extremely talented Erica Watson, comedian Correy Bell, Fly creator Dave Jeff, and talent agent Veva Riley. Hi to all of you guys. Correy B, I see the tissue in the hand. I'm gonna need y'all to talk. This is where the village comes in, and we lift each other up as Erica would. Dave, you knew Erica from high school, right?
From high school, Erica was my girl in high school. Erica was the plug on all on everything. She played matchmaker a couple times.
Oh wait, how did that work out?
I mean, you know, me and Erica were always like that brother-sister type thing. That's my girl, that's my guy type. And you know, I went to Kenwood. I was kind of popular at Kenwood. I'm just saying. Been fly a long time. And I mean, she was just always cool. She was just a giving, genuine person. We definitely tried to work recently, more recently, when Leon Rogers and I were doing our version of a Def Comedy Jam. It was called Wordplay, to get her on Wordplay and come through. She never was able to do it, but in those conversations, we always talked about all this other creative stuff to do. A Netflix show, let's do this, or let's have this party, or
that was Erica. She was always brainstorming.
Yes. Yes.
And lifting others up. Yeah, Veva, you called me yesterday. You were one of the first phone calls I received. I know you were very close with Erica. Also represented her at Promote Talent, and you can speak on just how talented she was as a writer and as an actress. Of course, we saw her in The Chi. We saw her in Chirac. Go ahead and speak on her talents.
I don't think people really understand that, although very often people are saying, like, people are jack of all and master of none, but actually Erica was master of all. And so not only was she an amazing television and film actor, but she also did theater. I don't think people understood. She directed, she wrote. She also, like, she had done a workshop at SAG-AFTRA introducing improv, and we had one actually scheduled for Promote, where she was going to actually teach comedy and improv in April. And of course the pandemic happened and she wasn't able to do that. But you guys were talking about the brainstorm. She had really wanted to promote, no pun intended, wanted to promote young, particularly people of color, who wanted to be writers and producers. And she was actually working on something that she was calling a brainstorm, where she was going to try to bring all those people together, because you know how generous she was and always wanted to connect everyone.
Veva, when I'm listening to you, I can think of one thing when it comes to Erica and you. I remember, and we all know Erica was a foodie, but Veva, apparently, and Ryan, I don't know if you knew this, not only an agent, but would meal prep for Erica some really good-looking meals, because you were an advocate for her and her health as well.
Because it was all about everything. There were times, I'm a very transparent person. There were times that Erica would refuse an audition because she was saying her legs were swollen and she didn't want to have to stand so long. So I was like, during this pandemic, we're going to help you get healthy. So every Monday I would cook on the weekend, and I would make stuff with cauliflower and greens. And as a matter of fact, she kept saying, oh, Val has to taste these greens. Girl, to get to it. But I don't know if you guys know, she had lost over 20 pounds before she passed away. And it's just so heartbreaking. But we are here to celebrate this amazing woman of color who was filled with passion. And I just want to make sure we know how she was not selfish. She gave to everyone. Even if she didn't get it, she wanted somebody else that she knew to get the opportunity.
And Correy is nodding. We got her back. I know you can attest to that too, Corey.
Listen, it's so funny because I met her in the green room of Windy City Live, and she spoke to me like we knew each other. You know, she gives you one of them, hey, girls.
Hey, girl.
Yeah, hey, girls. And when she gave me a hey, girl, I was like, hey, girl. And it was at that moment, you know, that she started asking the question, oh, my God, you're a comedian? Well, how about this? Or what did you do about that? But she was just this big ball of unapologetic energy. You know, she was who she was. She loved who she was. She was proud of what she did, and wasn't nobody gonna check her about it either. But she always gave you this. You know what I'm saying? And that was what's amazing for her. So I can't wait to be able to do something in that honor, because I'm so inspired to write and create. And if nothing else, to make sure that we are passing on and giving on those opportunities, because one thing she wasn't was selfish. It's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's enough for everybody.
I was saying that too, that I will just, I went back and looked at our texts between each other, and in our texts between each other is 50 different opportunities that she tried to put me on, period. Like, yo, one particular, hey, make sure you come through the cast of, what's the musical, Hamilton is going to be here. Make sure you come here. Hey, bring your wife to this. Let's do this. Let's connect here. So I'm just looking through the text and like even talking about her surprise birthday that she was throwing, or that she had to reschedule or whatever last year before the things. But to the point of the greatest giver, the greatest connector, the true plug, plug.
I like you, Dave, went through, I'm sure everybody did, and I think this is just something that you do when you lose someone suddenly. You look back on all your conversations and pictures and text, and I found a video that she sent to me and two of her other girlfriends telling us her plan. You know, she was only going to go to Jamaica for a month, and she fell in love with it there, and she kept extending it, and she said, I'll be back March 1st. I'm going to spend my birthday here. I'm going to spend New Year's Eve, and I'll be back March 1st.
And that's...
And Val, can we please talk about also how philanthropic Erica was if she saw someone in need? I think 2019, there was a big girl who didn't have a prom dress and who didn't have it. And I know she pulled you in on it as well. But she wanted her to have a date and make that day absolutely special.
Viva,
she was always giving of herself.
You are so right about that. We could go on and on and on about the things that Erica was doing. And Eric, her brother, was also a part of that. She pulled in anybody who she knew and loved. She was like, Val, she want a phony pony. I got you. I got on the phone, got the phony pony going. And that's how she collaborated. I was telling somebody before, you know, Black Lives Matter got really popular last year, she called me, she said, Val, let's do a media mixer for Black women in Chicago. I said, that's a dope idea. Let's do it. She did most of the work, but we did collaborate and bounce ideas, and it was beautiful to see all this Black girl magic in a room at Nazi Muhammad's spot at 111 over here, who was another a brother, an adopted brother that she had, but she was able to bring in all these women, and we were all there supporting each other. There was no hating, there was no jealousy. It was all about the uplift. But yeah, she did all that.
Yep, and
it was never about the me. It was always about the we and the us.
Yes.
Always.
We can all win. We can all win. There shouldn't be any competition. She was like, if I can't get it, I want one of you all to get it.
Somebody to get it.
Somebody.
She sure was, including me. She would call me up and try to encourage me for auditions and saying, I'm writing a part for you. She was so unselfish.
Yes,
Correy,
to that, Ryan, remember, she was like, she told me, she said, listen, we're gonna write something for Ryan. We had already picked out the space. She said, I have the perfect thing. She said, the only thing is I'm writing 3 scenes and I'm gonna give him a real cute girl to be in the love scene.
Matchmaker.
yeah, I don't know if you saw that roast. I'm still recovering from that. Correy, Jeff, Viva, thank you so much for sharing your memories of our beloved Erica.
It was our privilege.
Thank you.